Okay, so here's something else for you goat people. I think I made a video, I'm sure I did somewhere along the way, about how we were expanding out the lean-to. And we had built this little stall right here, and we had this panel that's now pulled open here. We had this panel running from this corner, or from this brace, across to that corner. So it made that a little stall in there. And then we had this slightly bigger double stall. And this is where we were holding the Nubians just because they were much bigger goats. But what I've just done just now is to give, these are all of our weaned olings, to give them a little bit more space to run while they're in this pen. I've just opened up this middle section, this dividing thing. So basically made their stall, about a third larger than it was. I mean, I guess, well, yeah, whatever. I added basically a third stall, let's put it that way. This was a double stall, that was a single stall. So now they have a little bit more room to run. They can actually run back and forth. What we have been doing is pushing the milking does out of the alleyway during the day and opening up their gate and letting the babies have full reign of the alley. And I'll probably still do that too here in just a minute. But I wanted to expand their pen so that when they are in their pen, during milk time or overnight at least, then they have a little bit more room to move around in their pen. So that was the idea. I just wanted to show you guys that because I wanted to mention, my sort of master plan to rework this whole barn is to have a common, you got basically an 8-foot wide lean-to here, to have a common dividing fence still at about 3 feet, 3 feet off the barn wall to create an alley. But then the pen that's out on this outside can also be an alley or it can be a pen, and it will just have a whole series of, sort of cross fencing, if you will, of gates, just like this one. Only I want to, rebuild it all with, solid wood gates, and not all these little temporary panel gates they made. The panel gates are actually working pretty good, but I don't like they're all wired and nailed together. And I'd rather have a panel gate that's on hinges that I can just pull out, swing it open. So it will take some time. It'll take some money, obviously, for all the hardware and the infrastructure. But this is why I want to be able to do that, so that basically when it becomes heavy kidding time and we need 7, 8, 9 stalls, we'll just shut a whole bunch of interior gates on this outer alley and have a bunch of stalls. And just as quick as those does are out of those stalls, we'll start opening up gates and making it be, again, that sort of dual alley, if you will, or parallel alley, whatever you want to call it. Again, I want to do the same thing with this area back here. It'll be longer, skinnier pens than those up front, but same concept. So the interior gates on this end, because this is a longer lean-to, it's almost 12 feet. These interior gates will be able to do the same thing. They won't be able to swing all the way open against a wall like these will, just because they're too big. So I'll probably just have them on like a double gate hinge, just a standard pin and barrel hinge like this. But we'll have that on both ends, so they'll be able to just lift up off of that, and we'll just set them to the side somehow. Tie them up against a barrier just so they don't fall over. But yeah, same thing. So you can constantly change the shape and size of pens as much as you want to. That's the idea. It's not a new idea. When you go into big commercial barns like that, everything is mobile, everything is interchangeable, and this is exactly why. So we have the quick flexibility. These little panels here are not quick flexibility. They're working, but they're not the best solutions. So anyway, just want to show you how I'd done that, how to open that up. We did the same thing out here in the alleyway, just as quick as we could. We tore down what was a corner pen right there where Callie's standing. We had a corner pen. We took it down, so we gave a much larger area. Just taking that one panel out made a huge difference in the amount of space that the does have to be able to just mill around, because now they're not confined to having to go through a gate or around a corner. They can just wander side to side, and they really like having that big common area. Those two front pens, well, the one you can see Halo back there further, she's in what used to be a front pen. That pen is still assembled. We just leave the gate tight open. And because those two gates open against each other, like I showed you before, that means the front left stall is closed right now, but that's okay. They don't need it. They can roam that whole front area. They get all the way down this alley and come into here. And then of course, here in a minute, when they're done gorging themselves on their alfalfa, I'm actually going to kick them outside. And then of course, then they've got the whole outer pen all the way around. So they get plenty of room to get out and run around and stretch. For now, I got to pick this mess up because these little goobers are just having a blast. They get a bigger pen now. But that's pretty much it. We are, yeah, just letting the chicks play a little bit longer in the barn and clean it up, and they'll be done with chores for the morning.